Hello everyone, this is Joel Davis with the United Medical Transportation Providers Group. In a moment I want to share with you a great email I received yesterday from a client provider I'm working with, and I think some of the nuggets that he talks about in his email are going to help you as you build and grow your business. What I love working about with this provider, he's in the great state of Texas. And one of the many reasons why I enjoy working with him is he's like a dry sponge to water. He soaks up everything. He's a worker, he's a doer, he's knowledgeable, he's articulate, he's willing to do whatever is necessary to be successful, and he's very pragmatic and practical. He moves methodically forward, and again, the best thing is he listens to everything I tell him. He considers all options and possibilities. A lot of times I'll work with client providers that they'll retain my services, and then we begin work with them. They still want to do it their way. Well, if your way was so successful, you probably would not need me. But again, a lot of times when I work with these people, they still want to press that square peg into the round hole, and it just doesn't work. Ironically enough, where this client provider is located, a year or so ago, I worked with someone almost in the same community, and he floundered and failed because he refused to heed my advice and counsel and my warnings. He went out and he followed what I call the field of dreams strategy. If you build it, they will come. That's not true. If you go out and purchase a bunch of vehicles and they're not the right type of vehicles and demand isn't there, it's not going to be successful. Whereas this client provider is moving methodically forward with a controlled growth strategy as I advocate in all my resources. And most importantly, he not only invested in the one-on-one training and the market analysis, but he's actually using the material and the counsel that we give him and is working out exceptionally well. So let me get to his email. He says, "Thanks, Joel. I just completed the transports for the retirement community. From the looks of it, their vehicle will be offline for a couple more weeks, so I should get more work from them. I was hoping to meet the coordinating director in person, but she wasn't available. I did leave her a box of my company stuff along with a handwritten postcard. I also gave a small gift bag to 2 residents I transported, hoping they will tell others about my service. Minus not meeting with the director, I think today was a success. I did get to meet with some of the other staff and introduce myself. After the trips today, I am absolutely convinced that working with facilities is the way to go. You have a fixed pickup location, drastically reducing commute cost. Plus, the referral potential is huge. Definitely need to work with more of them. I will definitely need help as we continue to get additional vehicles. To be frank, the idea of having a fleet is a bit intimidating. However, once we get full-size vans, things will start to change. Thanks for the edits on the presentation. I like the updates, and we'll make changes, David." Now, to give you some of the backstory to this email, he's serving as a secondary or a support solution for a facility/retirement community where their vehicle is down. I cannot tell you how many times that I personally and countless other client providers that I've worked with, that they serve as the secondary or support solution or provider for facilities, so that when their personal vehicle that they use to transport their residents is down, you fill the gap. Or if they outsource, maybe they have a primary contractor and you serve as a secondary. So any overflow will go to you, or any trips that either the facility or the primary contractor can't provide, you'll provide. And so many times all you need is that small little entry point in there. And then in time, when the opportunity does present itself, that's where you fill the gap and that's where you shine. And ultimately, that's where you can position yourself to become either replace the primary contractor, or literally replace and be a more cost-effective solution versus having the facility in-house their own transportation with staff and maintenance and associated overhead expenses. So again, this client provider, David, is doing an excellent job right now filling the void for a retirement community whose vehicle is down, and they're giving him all the business. So now he's fully taking advantage of it. He talks about a lot of his marketing material, which we helped him with during the one-on-one training. And what I love in here is, and one thing in working with this client provider, he's very pragmatic and he understands clearly. And I've kind of browbeat him over the head, and he knows it. So all your decisions need to be made on the margin, and this client provider, he gets it. He does not, in fact, sometimes I even tell him, sometimes he even moves slower than I'd want him to. But what I love about it is he's focused on the margins. I won't go into too much detail talking about his numbers, but he's focused and keen on shooting to make that 25% profit margin. And again, he's not going to make a move and invest in any more vehicles until the numbers bear out and the numbers dictate when to purchase the right vehicles. And speaking of vehicles, another classic example of why I love working with this client provider is he understands exactly the type of vehicles that we want to go after. So many client providers that I work with, they want to either purchase the wrong vehicles, or for example, I'm working with one client provider right now who insists that they're going to start just converting the existing vans they have. The vans they have right now are not ideal for what they're trying to accomplish. They want to go and waste more money to try and convert this vehicle, and it's just not necessary. It's not the ideal strategy. In the long run, they're going to spend and waste more money. Likewise, some other providers who I've just started working with, they actually are leasing vehicles. You never lease vehicles. First of all, you probably should never lease a vehicle even outside the NEMT business, but inside the NEMT business, you never lease a vehicle. You will always take a long-term loss. Your vehicles should be assets that you should be able to literally pound to the ground because it's going to make you money. The more you pound it with mileage, you should be making more money. If not, your business model is all screwed up. So the last thing you want to do is lease a vehicle where you're going to pound it with mileage and then you get penalized on the back end when it's time to turn it in. So you never lease a vehicle. And then also, again, he talks about some of his strategies with marketing, and that's something that obviously we've worked with him on during this one-on-one, is helping him with his presentations to a lot of these facilities, a lot of his marketing materials, and everything. You have to understand, working with facilities, there's so many different types of facilities. You have hospitals of all sizes, hospitals with different types of specialists. You have nursing facilities of all sizes with different levels of skilled care. You have rehab facilities, assisted living facilities. So how you approach each facility is different. And I can assure you, and this is something that I always tell people, there is a difference between a contract and a service agreement. A contract, technically, from my perspective of how we present them, tend to be much more robust. So if you're going to be working with a large hospital network, that's where you need to have something that's much more in-depth and full of quote-unquote legalities. Versus if you're going to have a smaller facility, you don't want to be as overwhelming or even intimidating with a large contract. That's where a smaller, more focused, and limited in scope service agreement is more ideal. And again, all these different facilities have different temperaments, different management structures. So how you interact with them, some of them you'll bill directly, some you'll have, even if you have a contract with them, you'll still bill the residents directly. So there's a lot of different variations even within the facilities themselves. So I encourage you, continue to study the material, invest in a controlled growth strategy. Do not fall prey to the field of dreams strategy where you just go out there and start purchasing a bunch of assets and vehicles, and the next thing you know, you become overextended. Be very methodical and systematic in building your business. If you are interested in one-on-one coaching, by all means, visit my website at milliondollartransportation.com. Under the product guide, you'll see the one-on-one opportunity as well as the market analysis. The benefit to the market analysis is that my team is going to literally do the market research for you in terms of finding the hospitals, nursing facilities, rehab, assisted, independent, retirement communities, and then they literally call them to try to determine what their level of need is in terms of transportation. Do they have their own in-house transportation? If they don't, who do they outsource it to? Do they have any contracts with anybody? Obviously, this takes a lot of time. I think as of right now, as of this recording, we're running at about 10 weeks for development of a single market analysis because we have a lot of market analysis in the queue, number one. Number two, it takes time to call these facilities, wait for return phone calls, play phone tag, to connect with the right people to try to ask the right questions. Some facilities are awesome. They're going to give you great information. Other ones, they're a little more tight-lipped, which is understandable. But again, it takes time to develop those market analysis. But the market analysis is also excellent in helping you develop your business plan as well as your strategic planning for implementing your actual strategies for launching your business. So definitely continue to check out the product guide, look at the different resources, and whether you work with me or not, I encourage you, do not waste your time following all the free crap online. I know everybody No one wants to spend money. I know everybody, and they want to be what I call freebie experts. There is so much junk out there online that's going to have you chasing different shiny objects and running down different rabbit holes. Be very cautious of what you put into your mind and where you spend your money. So thank you for taking time to watch this entire video. I hope you found these little nuggets as illustrated by David, this client provider out of the great state of Texas. I hope you found it all helpful. And always remember that I will see you at the top.